Hello, 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 good people. Hello, good people. I am Dr. Hollie Kelly, and this is Dr. Kelly's Perspective for Tuesday, August 15th, 2017. I am a couple of days away from officially being the birthday girl, even though I like to celebrate like the whole month. I want to come to you this morning with a perspective. It's just a question, one simple question, and I am hopeful, actually I'm prayerful, that you do not allow yourself a pass. Do not let yourself off the hook without coming up with a real answer to the question. Well, good morning, Dr. Stephanie. Okay, so here's my question. Well, before I even get to the question, let me set the stage. If you live in this nation and you happen to be an American citizen, I would think that the recent events that are happening, it just sparked its fire in Charlottesville, Virginia. But if we really look around, we've got simmerings that are barely beneath the surface of hatred. That's just plain and simple. Hatred, discord, all of the isms. Hello, Anand. And I started out by saying, if you live in this nation, Anand is in India. But it applies as well. When we have unrest, when we have a deep seething anger, good morning, baby sister, when we have a deep seething anger that so often dictates our behavior, our actions, our lack of actions, and it remains unaddressed, like any pot that is boiling, it will boil over. It will boil over. And so I find myself oftentimes, and if you have been appalled or angered or seething or incensed or just weary of it all, if we found ourselves frightened, intimidated because of, in this particular case, racial unrest, my question to you today is WWYD, not WWJD, what would Jesus do? What will you do? What will you do about it? And as I always say, you may not have a national platform. You may not have even a statewide or citywide platform. But if you're walking and breathing on this earth, you have some sense of a platform, some sphere of influence. There's a bubble around you of family members, of co-workers, of teammates, of church members, of those that you get your hair and nails done with, those, your mechanic, those who you golf with. You have a sphere of influence. And I know a lot of people stay away from, oh, that's a hot topic issue. I don't deal with that. Politics and religion, I don't speak to that. But we live in a world where too many of us continue not to speak about it. So my question for each of us today is, what will you do? What will you do to ensure that you are not part of the problem by our silence, by our inaction? What will you do about it? Everybody's not a picketer. Everybody's not going to be out on the front line picketing and walking up and down the streets and up and down, everybody's not going to do that. But that doesn't mean you are absolved of all action. This is a call to action. So are you going to vote? Are you going to register to vote? Are you going to break a barrier by just speaking to someone outside of your sphere of influence? Are you going to read because you don't know what's going on? Are you going to take the time to educate yourself and figure out what's going on and read from a different perspective? You can absolutely run for office. Sometimes that can be intimidating for people to say, oh my goodness, I could never do that. But you have got to do more than sit and remain silent. Remain blind, like the three monkeys. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. This is our nation. And if you don't like the way, the direction, the trajectory that it is going, we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to do something in our sphere, in our little sphere. Hello, Ganiguera. Okay, so what are you doing? Are you educating those around you? Are you having a conversation with someone, with a whole lot of someones? Okay, we have a responsibility. If we do not like the direction something is going and it bothers us, it saddens us, it wearies us, it angers us, that is because you have been called to do something about it. And do not allow the excuse or the fear to keep you silent, to keep you handcuffed and shackled. Again, the something, whatever the something is your call. It's your choice. Just do something, say something. Hello for all who are joining me. So again, I'm not advocating that everybody go out there. Thank you. I'm not advocating that anyone go out and do something that is outside of a comfort zone for you. I am not a picketer. You probably will never find me in anybody's picket line. But let me tell you what I have done. I know that our younger kids, our younger generation, have had to learn some things. Okay, if they automatically have a dislike for a different color, a different ethnicity, a different culture, a different race, a different gender, a different persuasion, if that's an automatic reaction, that didn't just happen overnight. They learned from somewhere. They learned that from someone. Okay, so if they are in my sphere of influence, then I have a responsibility to try to tweak that. Okay. We can never drive out hatred with hatred. We can never drive out anger with another part of anger. All the more reason to make sure you're taking in the time to educate yourself about the world we live in today. To make sure that we are educating ourselves, okay? We do not live in a cocoon. A homogeneous cocoon where everybody looks like you and thinks like you and acts like you. There's no strength in that. The strength comes from our differences. The strength comes from our diversity. Diversity of thought, diversity of experiences, diversity of backgrounds and cultures. There is strength in that, and we need not fear it. So my call to you, again, if you are dissatisfied, appalled, fearful of what is happening, what will you do? We don't have a right to complain. We don't have a right to say, and I can't believe, and do you see, if we're not going to follow it up with our actions in our little sphere. Figure out something to do to make the situation better, to change something as simple as speaking to someone who you would never speak to. Striking up a conversation. I'm telling you time and time again, you'll find that we are more alike than different. And every time we allow the differences to divide us, to separate us, to conquer us, we will be defeated. We don't need an enemy from without. We will self-destruct. It will be an internal combustion. We have to figure this thing out. We have to figure this thing out. So my question to you today, And do not allow yourself off the hook. And if you have no clue as to what I'm referring to, okay, that's already a starting point for you. That's already a starting point for you. Just start there and get a clue. Come up from out of the sand. Oh no, well, you know, I heard a little something about it, but I really didn't pay attention. We're running out of time for you not to pay attention. Okay. Okay. So, WWYD, what will you do? Figure out your answer and then make it happen.